My friend backstabbed me, called me a terrorist, and made me suicidal. I gave her a mental break and got her expelled. Background. For 7th and 8th grade, I went to a college prep school. It was a top of the line, prestigious school. In fact, not only did you have to interview and pass an exam to even get accepted, the only classes offered were honors and advanced placement. I was very excited to go to a new school for 7th grade. This school was 7 to 12, as unfortunately, I dealt with many cases of bullying at my old school, ergo I was far ready for a change. I was especially giddy, in that it was such a long process to get in. The thing I most hated about previous schools is that I had always been faced with people who didn't take academics as seriously as I did. I was a straight A student for all of my junior high and high school career. I thought that everyone at this preparatory would be as dedicated, professional, and as eager to learn as I was. But of course, I thought wrong. I hadn't taken into account the sheer numbers of students that were enrolled not because they wanted to, but because their parents wanted them to. These were not hard-working students, and as I came to find out, that was the most common case among people enrolled in the school. Regardless, it was an alright experience. Except for 7th grade. 7th grade was a hellish nightmare in its entirety. I came into the school thinking, you know what? I don't care if people don't like me. I like me, and that's what matters. I'm not going to change myself for everyone else anymore. Acting as someone I was not was a very usual thing for me before. With all the bullying, it was my way of life. For those wondering, I got bullied for being odd. I had a head accident when I was a bit younger, and it resulted in FARS, foreign accent syndrome, compulsion, and other similar behaviors. I wasn't very carefree like other kids. I was cautious and paranoid, and I had funny accents. Through everything, I was the school-wide freak. When I first arrived, I was determined to be myself, my weird, freaky, insane, loving self despite my instincts to keep my walls up. I said to myself, it'll be different. It's been a while since I've let my guard down. Who knows, it might be awesome. 7th grade me was much too innocent, but surprisingly, it went well for the first quarter. In fact, I was actually popular. By no exaggeration, everyone knew my name, both students and staff. For the first time in my entire life, I always had people to sit with at lunch, and everyone laughed at my jokes. I was really happy. And then second quarter. Second quarter was a huge mess filled with drama. Basically, there was this group of slightly older kids who befriended me, and then a week later began psychologically manipulating me. They began feeding me lies about ghosts and demons, and how one of them possessed our friend. The rest of the quarter was her claiming to be either herself with horrid memories, if the demon, or the demon itself. Long story short, my parents found out what was going on and crucified me. My father yelled and threatened and beat me. My mother destroyed my room. Both told me, how could you have been such a stupid bitch to be used like this? Yes, I grew up in an abusive and hostile house, but that is a completely different story. Basically, I returned to third quarter broken. I had built my walls back up. Also, I was not popular anymore. The group of kids had demanded so much of my time for their BS drama that I was distant from everyone else. And well, they moved on. I suffered through third quarter. I had 3 friends. That was all. This specific story takes place on the last day of third quarter. I was in 5th hour when I got called up to the office. Now, even though my popularity crashed among the students, it soared among the faculty. I always was good at speaking with adults, especially for my age. Having abusive parents matures you very quickly. Even the janitors knew me. I went up to a room where the principal and counselor were. The school was small enough we only had one counselor, and they began asking me questions about my first friend. I had met her on the first day of school. We somehow had 4 6th classes together and had some things in common, so we made friends and always did our projects together. I didn't sit with many people at lunch, but I sat with her. I will call her Piper. Around second quarter, I didn't like her as much, and by third quarter I really didn't like her, but had to put up with her, since it would be horrible to have an enemy in 4 6ths of your classes. After a few general questions, how is your relationship? Have you ever had a fight? Alright, I guess/no, but there have been a couple times recently where she has shoved me, but I think it's all okay. The principal left, and Piper came in. The counselor asked Piper to tell me what she told them, and she went on to say, "Mayhem. I've been afraid to go to school because of you, because you've threatened me with firearms." She starts to cry. I'm shocked. I'll spare you my mental breakdown and give you this. Basically, Piper didn't want to be my friend anymore, so they told the school that I threatened her on multiple occasions, saying that I would shoot her with a gun. I was mortified, mostly because how I was raised. Aside from the abusive home life, my father was in the Navy. He raised my brother and I to always respect guns. We went to the shooting range twice a week because we were on a team for trap/skeet. He taught us that there's a whole category of subjects dedicated to not making jokes about them, and guns is on that list. I was being accused of everything. I stood against all, while I did nothing wrong. My 6th hour class was throwing a party to celebrate the end of the quarter. I didn't go. Instead, I cried in the counselor's room. Piper went though, perfectly fine, being in that class as well. I sobbed and sobbed. Once Piper left, the counselor began comforting me, telling me that she knew I was a good kid and that Piper was young. She skipped a grade, so she was a year younger than me and didn't understand what she did. You know how she knew Piper was bullshitting? She sat next to me at lunch the day before. The counselor walked by and saw us interacting perfectly normal. You don't sit next to someone who makes you afraid to go to school. She didn't have any proof of me ever threatening her, and she couldn't even pinpoint a time when I supposedly did. At the end of the day, she told me to try and enjoy my spring break. Yeah, right. I had a mental breakdown the entire time. Thank you, Piper, for ruining my spring break. I had 2 friends. When I returned to school 2 weeks later, a mess and dead. Piper had the smuggest, most happy look on all the time. I had to deal with it and avoid her in 4/6 classes. What I later figured out was that she used the excuse she did because I'm Middle Eastern. My dad is Arab, so my skin is slightly olive tinted. She basically accused me of being a terrorist because I was Middle Eastern. When I figured this out, I almost threw up. The kicker of this entire thing, she didn't get in trouble. Nope. Not even a stern talking to. I mean, I didn't get in trouble because I did nothing wrong, but she didn't get in trouble for making that big of an accusation up. Absolute bullshit. To top it all off, my second friend excommunicated me because Piper did the it's her or me thing, and you can guess what happened. I had only one friend. Until the end of 7th grade, I hated my home life, I hated my school life, and I was suicidal. 8th grade was better, but since not much happened, other than me and my one friend talking trash about Piper, I'll skip to my freshman year, since this is where the revenge starts. I was at a new school, but still kept in touch with my one friend, I'll call her Luna, and made more new friends at my new school, having yet another fresh start. I began to forget about Piper, but since Luna and I always talked much trash, Luna would message me to rant about her and send whatever awkward, cringy pictures she post on her social medias for us to make fun of them. I wanted her to at least be given some sort of hey, what you did wasn't okay, and I came up with my plan, my perfect plan. I needed Luna to help me pull this off, since I had left that school and she still attended, but I knew exactly what to do. I type up a page-long letter to Piper, but without actually using her name. I said I was Karma in like the first line, and signed it like that. I didn't swear, I kept classy, while saying stuff like, "Is this who you really want to be? Are you satisfied with yourself?" And I made it really ominous and creepy. All I told her to do was right her wrongs. I didn't want to threaten her, and I didn't, but she made me cry every day for 2 weeks. I just wanted the same. I played with the font style to get it to match the message, and I sent it at Luna, both of us using our incognito emails that no one knew about. She was fully on board with helping Piper get a dose of karma. Side note, Luna didn't like Piper and would always complain about how terrible she was to me, but was always nice to her. She faked being her friend because she also hated confrontation, and she faked it pretty well. Luna printed out the letter and crumpled it into a ball, and we waited. On the last day of third quarter, she slipped it into her backpack anonymously, so she would see it when she went home. An important detail. It was like a happy 2-year anniversary from when she made me officially suicidal in the 7th grade. Here starts the revenge. The next morning, I woke up to my phone being blown up with messages, all from Luna. Holy shit, it fucking worked, Comga and other things. I was both excited and nervous. She sent me screenshots of Piper messaging her, freaking out. Piper was having a breakdown, just like yours truly did, and was contacting the school. Since Luna was also Piper's friend in all this, Piper kept her up to date with everything, like she didn't know what was going on. Therefore, Luna kept me posted. I witnessed her go insane through Luna for 2 weeks. Best spring break probably ever. On the first day back, Luna had lots to tell me. She said there were police at the school, and the whole day students were getting called up to the office. Meanwhile, Piper was bawling her eyes out. This evidentially continued for the whole week, but to obviously no luck. There was no handwriting on the paper, and technically since her name wasn't on the paper, there wasn't much the school could do. I mean, for all they could know, she could have just written the paper herself. And that's what the rest of the school thought. After calling students up to the office for a solid 2 weeks, the whole operation stopped. Piper was pissed. Apparently, Piper's parents tried to sue the school for not doing enough. They never were able to though, for lack of sufficient evidence. From everyone else's point of view, there's this girl who went home one day and came back after spring break with this random creepy letter and started accusing half of the school for being out to get her. Now, most people hated her. It started from everyone that got called up. They were pissed because they had Piper pointing her grubby fingers at them and had the school giving them dirty looks as well. When they were cleared, they would rant to all their friends about how bogus the entire situation was. People began theorizing that Piper wrote the letter herself to get attention by playing victim and become popular. Sure enough, after police withdrew after 2 weeks, Piper was moaning and groaning to everyone. Yeah, I can't believe someone is stalking me. It was so scary and the police won't even do anything. Everyone gave her dirty looks. Luna told me that when she went to sit at a table once, everyone looked at her and stood up without saying anything to her. I thought it would finish here, but no, it gets way better. Luna messaged me the best idea I had ever heard. Luna, holy shit, I have an idea. Mayhem, what's up? Luna, what if I spill the tea about what happened to you with her in 7th grade? Mayhem, why? Luna, because then they'll really hate her. I mean, you were not very popular in 8th grade, but you were kinda a hit. PPL knew her name, and that you were a straight A student and really nice. Everyone knew you were the teacher's pet in every class, and that the staff loved you. What do you think? Me, holy shit, you're right. Luna, I know I'm a genius. Me, I love you so much, Luna. Luna, I know you're still my best bitch. To hell with Piper. Me, Satan's going home, baby. I know we were weird. Still are too. Luna went around spreading what happened and of course, people were going insane. They couldn't believe it, so a few other people knew me messaged me for the first time in a while and asked me either, hey Mayhem, just out of curiosity, why did you stop being friends with Piper? Or straight up, what happened in 7th grade between you and Piper? I confirmed everything, and the school went haywire. Absolutely ballistic. Everyone was pissed. By the next week, a petition went around school to get Piper expelled. It got 8,000 fucking signatures. With a school as small as it was, that was about 60% of the entire student body. 2 weeks later, the school smugly expelled her. Her parents tried to fight it, but the school's claim was that her presence was causing disruption in what's supposed to be a learning environment. They also brought back up the false claims they made against me 2 years before and used this as Piper having a history of creating trouble without any evidence, and she was expelled. The school rejoiced, and I was never even suspected of anything tied to the letter. After all, I was on the other side of town and as far as anyone knew, not in contact with anyone from that school. I took Luna out to eat as a celebration of our victory, and we had the best time. She's still probably my best friend today, and she even moved out of state with me after I graduated high school. We were roommates for a while too before I moved out with Sarge, boyfriend. If you enjoyed the stories, Slap the like and subscribe button for more of them, and don't forget to support the original writers with an upvote. Links are in the description. Peace out, and catch you